evening. We'll open the meeting to the public. Anyone from the public may address the board on any issue at this time. We'll have another chance later near the end of the meeting. Sir, please identify yourself for the clerk.
Jason Schaff, president of the North Country Hockey Association.
Okay.
I'd like to address a letter sent to the board on July 11th pertaining to the meeting on July 2nd about the bottle bin box.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like that the letter be read to the public.
Sure.
If you could read that for me, or you want me to read the letter?
You can go ahead and read it if you want.
Okay.
It was addressed to the board.
Addressed to the board, yes it was, yep.
And the board all read it.
Did the board, yeah, but I'd like it on the record and.
You can get it on the record, and then
Okay.
we'll talk to you about that too.
Okay, thank you. Dear Board of Trustees, in light of the recent comments made by the Board of Trustees at the Village Board meeting on 7/2/18 regarding North Country Youth Hockey, hereinafter NCYH bottle bin, we hereby submit the following in response. First, we would like to say thank you for all the improvements to the Civic Center. We noticed towards the end of the last hockey season and also to the recent cosmetic renovations given the outside of the building. However, we must express our discontent regarding the inaccurate statements made during the board meeting on July 2nd. We'd like to remind and or advise that North Country Youth Hockey has put forth a lot of our own money and time and energy into the Civic Center, including the addition of the public upstairs warm rooms, painting the hallway and locker rooms. We have also had to ensure many years of inadequate conditions within the Civic Center and exercise patience during this time. We are aware of the current state of our bottle bin and apologize for the issues risen from this. We have finalized a resolution on this to prevent the overflow of bottles and unsightly view it creates. However, it would have been nice to have the same patience we exercised returned to us on this situation. For the purposes of this letter, we'd like to address the following points stated during the meeting cited above. 1. We are not responsible for the excess clothing and or garbage surrounding our bottle bin. As previously mentioned, we are aware of the bottle overflow, which will be addressed immediately. 2. It is cited that attempts were made numerous times by various village personnel to contact someone within NCYH about the overflow. This is completely inaccurate. None of our members have ever received a phone call from anyone at the village on this matter. The only communication received were emails from Mr. Peters to Mr. Lemieux on June 11th and July 5th. If a meeting face-to-face would have been preferred or requested, please contact me. We can schedule a time and date, or you're welcome to join us at our next board meeting. The bottle drop-off at our bin are for North Country Youth Hockey kids only and are not to be taken and donated elsewhere. Bottles have been taken and stolen from our bin in the past without our permission, and we pressed petite larceny charges against those that did so. The people dropping these bottles off intend for the money returned to be given to North Country Youth Hockey kids, not another charity or donation. This is a major fundraiser for our organization, which helps keep our registration fees to a minimum. These bottles are not picked up every 3 to 4 weeks as stated. We have an agreement with Lake Champlain Fish Company, where they come once a week to pick up the bottles. Further, it is stated that someone would go meet with Lake Champlain Fish Company the next day after the July 2nd meeting. However, that did not occur, at least not as July 11th at 1300 when Mr. Lemieux spoke on the matter. Moving forward, to ensure all communication received accurately, send all correspondence directly to the attention of the North Country Youth Hockey Board, and information can be found on our website. Regardless, all future correspondence and communication will need to be sent to Vice President Jason Lemieux at Jason Lemieux iCloud at 518-645-4016 or President Jason Shad at mobasin8809gmail.com, 218-240-5945. Myself, Mr. Lemieux, and myself should be the only required point of contact needed for future issues. This will streamline and prevent communication problems. Again, we apologize for this inconvenience created by the bottle bin issue. We will do our best to prevent this from occurring in the future. It should be kept in mind, though, that summer brings more visitors, which creates more bottle returns. Therefore, if there's a case where a mass drop of bottles has occurred, please contact us. We'll get the problem situated as soon as we can. Thank you. That's it. Thank you.
Okay. We appreciate the contributions that the North Country Youth Hockey Association makes to our rec center. And we've been working real hard to bring this rec center back up to standards. We also were in the middle of doing the major 4th of July celebration here. There's a few things in there that are incorrect that you stated because you wouldn't know. We tried numerous times to call you. You don't know that because weren't able to get a hold of you. We had the wrong phone numbers or contact people or whatever. Finally, we did. I went up there and I talked to that lady twice. Until I was asking about you guys, I went up there and I talked to her. She was buried with bottles. She couldn't leave that place. On the 4th of July, the day of the 4th of July, not the celebration, she and her sister and her husband worked 16 or 12 hours when they were closed to catch up. Then the following Sunday, they were closed, they worked to catch up, and they still couldn't catch up. You couldn't get even in the door. So obviously, she wasn't gonna come down here and empty her bottle box for it. It was physically impossible for her to do it. Now, bottles were blowing all over the parking lot, all along the fence, neighbors were complaining, the rec center was complaining. Nobody said anything about you being responsible for extra clothes and stuff there. They've addressed that, they've got another container. They come every week and they clean up everything around it, including all the garbage that's left there. That bottle box had not been emptied since at least June 25th. That's when I actually noted it, and it was full. And it was full every single day until we started taking action. We never removed any bottles from the box because it was full. But we couldn't have them 10, 15 feet out into the parking lot in the way, making a mess, and then people started throwing garbage bags on top of the bags of bottles. We threw out probably 10, 12 bags of garbage, just plain household garbage. Now, it's not our responsibility to monitor that bottle box and call you guys up to say it's full. You have an arrangement with a contractor,
Correct, you're correct.
but that's not our issue.
You're right, but as far as we know, none of us have ever been contacted about the bottle bin, okay? I drive by the bottle bin every single day on the way to work. Holidays, every day.
You didn't
okay?
notice it?
I know when it's full, and I pick the stuff up when
But
it's
you
full.
didn't notice
But
it?
from June 25th to the day that you took the bottles out of there was not overwhelming.
Oh, it was.
I saw it the same day that you pulled
Almost
them out.
every
I saw
day.
3 bags on the ground there, and that was it, okay? That's just, regardless, okay? None of us have ever been contacted about the bottles. Our website, the same phone number's been on that website for 2 years now. Just contact any one of us, the numbers are on there. They haven't changed, they're not incorrect numbers, they're the same numbers have been on there for 2 years. None of us have ever gotten a call about the bottle bin. I'm not saying you have to call us, but it would have been nice to give us a call, someone from the board to give a call.
All I can ask is the staff, because I didn't know who to call. I asked them, they said they called.
During the meeting-
Eventually, you got an email from the administrator.
During the meeting on July 2nd, she stated you contacted Babby or someone, I don't know who Babby is, what does Babby have to do with the North Country Youth Hockey Association?
And Donna, who did we call? That number that you gave me that was disconnected, that was in charge of the North Country Youth Hockey, and then
The
the
phone
office
number-
tried to call somebody,
I did not personally try to call somebody. I don't recall the phone number that I gave you.
you gave it to me on a piece of paper, and I
Right.
went home and called it, and it was
Right, I don't,
disconnected.
I honestly don't know.
Probably somebody was in this thing for
Well-
years ago, I don't know.
I guess from now on, from this day forward, we have your numbers, we'll keep them in.
All we're asking for is a little
Yes,
appreciation.
we know
a
you
little-
guys,
a
we
little
know you guys
contact,
do a
little-
lot here,
yes,
and we appreciate
We do.
everything that you do.
Yep.
And we will try to have more patience next time, or contact you if we see that it's overfull.
That would be perfect, we appreciate that, that'd be great. We've given you guys the same patience, the rec center,
Well,
you know,
also
and we
put
would
this-
expect in return,
put
and
this
that's
in
all
the-
we're asking, that's all
Put
we're
this
asking.
into context on a time. This is the ultimate celebration in the village, the 4th of July.
You're
We've
right.
got people working from 3 different departments trying to get this building painted up so it looks good for the 4th of July. And there's 4 or 5 pickup truck loads of bottles blowing all over the parking lot for not a day or two, for several weeks.
I
And
go
that's-
by it
that's
every
the
day.
story.
I go by it every day, and I didn't see bottles blowing all over the parking lot at all, but either way, you know, a little patience.
Well, if you
a
didn't
little-
see any,
a
then
little-
maybe none of them got removed,
a
because
little
none of them were
recognition,
taken out
you know,
of the box.
a little heads up would have been perfect on it, that's all we needed, instead of the comments made during the July 2nd meeting that were inaccurate, so that's all I'm trying to address.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make just a comment.
Yeah.
I've been involved in youth hockey many years ago in the fundraising. I applaud the effort you guys put into supporting youth events, any kind of youth events. So I really don't have a lot of background on this personally, but is there anything that the village can do to facilitate this not happening again? You know, get bigger pins for you guys, you know, hopefully you guys will collect more bottles and more revenue from the village end, because the The stage club has put another bin on because it's the same situation, more donations. I don't know where your bin originally came from, because, you know, a bigger bin, a second
It
bin.
was self-funded. We had someone from the local build it for us.
The only issue we have with the bottle bin, it's not the village's fault, is a lot of the people drop the bottles off and cans off there, are also dropping off water jugs, wine bottles, and liquor bottles, which take up the majority of the room, which are the majority of the bottles that are sitting outside there, liquor bottles, wine bottles, and water jugs, which, as you know, are recyclable, just trash.
Oh, yeah.
They're just trash, okay? So
There was a dish
they-
antenna in there.
So they should not, and when they see that, then they start dumping trash in there, so we have to take care of that also. So that's the problem we run into, it's not necessarily the bottles and cans, it's the trash that's filling up our bin. Now, how do we fix it? I don't know. A dumpster?
So we put
I
a
need
sign
to
up,
put a
we've got
sign
a
up there
camera,
that's-
we've got a camera on it now.
We're gonna be putting a sign up there that says, you know, don't, in
Please don't
French,
leave your trash.
French and English, don't dump your trash or
I'll-
your bottles.
I'll tell you
things
one
like that,
thing,
You know?
a suggestion.
I don't think you have to do that. I think the village should take and put a sign up there, no garbage dumping.
Exactly, yes, but are they gonna know what garbage is? Is it
Right.
on the bottles, the
There should
the
be a
wine
file.
bottles, the bottles?
We should also put a sign up, say, please do not dump trash, you are on camera.
We got a camera sign.
Yeah.
I know,
Right.
we do. So if they know there's a camera there, maybe we won't.
Well, we had to put that camera sign on there last year because people were stealing from
And I caught a couple of people on 2 occasions stealing bottles out of there
Mhm.
from Vermont.
Right, yep.
And I told them, you can't do that. They said, oh, I didn't know that. And one guy, he seemed to be, I don't know, you can't tell if they're lying or not, but he seemed to be genuinely, he didn't know what it was for. Because it doesn't say who the bottles are for.
Right, and we addressed that last
So I
year.
was thinking if you put the whole name on there, youth hockey,
Well, we
that
did,
people would know
we didn't
that-
have a name on it last year when that guy did that. She just thought there was free-for-all, you just pick up all the bottles. and
Well,
get
this
it.
was-
So I put the name on there, North Country, I put it on there.
well, it's initials.
Right, but it's property, yeah, that's. right,
I understand it, but I think if people knew it was for youth hockey, first thing, they might not steal them, and secondly, they might be more inclined to donate to it, because they're giving it to something that they know what it is. Instead of just, you know, like NCYH, if you're not from here, what does that mean? You know, really? So that might help you get more bottles. Now, how much do you get for a bottle?
standard 5 cents.
I guess so, I don't.
Does she give you that for, when she comes up there and does all the work to unload them and everything, and she still gives you the whole thing? huh?
I don't know what she does with the bottles, I don't, as far as I know, she just throws them away. It's there, right, you know, so.
Well, they make a certain percentage on them also.
Right. But that's what most,
Being a
that's what
rejection
most,
center,
that's
she
what most
has-
of the outside trash is bottles, water jugs,
Right.
and liquor bottles. And we'll find a way to figure that out. So.
I got a little suggestion, I don't know if it's any good or not, but, probably if somebody could make you another box and put it up to the bottle redemption place. You know, if people go in there with their bottles and stuff, like I go up in there with my bottles and stuff, most of the time, I give them to her or something like that. You know, if you had probably a box up there too,
Oh.
you know, I could, you know, people throw them up
People
there.
like-
You know, and if you had your North Country Cougar sign on there and stuff, and, you know, I mean, it's just a suggestion.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, because in the summer, we get bombarded with the Canadians.
Right,
That they just drop it off, they don't know what it's for.
right, yeah.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
a good idea.
Well, during the 4th of July, everybody's got all these picnics and parties,
Oh, yeah.
and everybody's going through cases of stuff at home. And then when they clean up the next day, there's where it went,
Mhm.
for day after day. It was really something.
We definitely want to work with you guys. We know you've worked with us for years and years. And you've done a good job in the rec center, always helping us out, so.
We appreciate it, and we'll work at it, we'll get it better, make sure that
Yeah, yeah.
it stays cleaned up.
Well, like I said, if it happens again, I'll pick up the bottles myself and bring them to the,
Or just
Or
give me a
something,
call,
just
Ben,
call.
just give me a call.
yeah, well, I gotta pick up, I mean, I don't mind, I would pick them up and stuff like that. But I didn't see them out there, so,
Appreciate it, thank you.
yeah.
And Mr. Shad, Mr. Lemieux, I wasn't here for that July meeting, and I'm going to apologize that this circumstance ever happened. And we are going to work forward to make sure that this doesn't happen again.
Appreciate
We
it.
we very much appreciate the hockey league, and we're very eager to do what we can. And I'm sorry that this happened.
Thank you, appreciate that.
You're
And again,
welcome.
we really appreciate the steps that the village has made for the rec center. It's moving along, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, anything else from the public? Okay, close this portion of the meeting to the public. We'll have another chance later on in the meeting. Minutes of the meeting of July 16th. Are there any errors or corrections?
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Anything else, Donna, you need to add? Okay, we need a motion to approve the minutes. Move.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, minutes are approved. Bills. Anyone have any question on the bills?
I've got three. I'm going to ask Mr. Pelkey, we had a road call from Champlain Peterbilt to go out and repair one of our trucks.
Yes, sir.
We had a road call,
It was a fire truck.
okay?
It was the aerial. Johnny couldn't figure out why something that was happening.
So he attempted to look at it first?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he
perfect.
worked 8 hours on it, he couldn't fix it, so they had to
Perfect.
come down and
Yep.
straighten it out.
That's great. Thank you. I just didn't know if it was a truck broke down on the road or what happened to it. Second one from Dragoons Farm Equipment, in the middle of the second page, is a pressure washer for $559.
Yes.
Village doesn't own one.
We have 2 homeowners, that the hoses, and they're in pretty tough shape.
Yeah.
And by the time you go buy a $150 hose and trying to refurbish these 20-year-old pumps, we just
Okay, so they are aged pressure washers.
age pressure washers that I think they're unsafe. So,
It was a budgeted item. It was in
Yeah.
the budget.
Okay. I just wasn't aware that the village may have already had one or two of them, because that's happened with equipment.
there's one at the rec center and there was one at the water plant.
Okay.
And between the 2 of them, you can barely make one. So that's why they lent us one. I checked around for different prices and they were the best price. And, you know, for a commercial with a Honda motor on it, something
Mhm.
for longevity, so
Sure.
that's why.
Thank you for being proactive on that. We certainly want to keep safety in mind. Last question I've got is the sewer department had a charge for Staples, $167 for a logbook. What kind of a logbook are we talking about for $167?
It has to do with the lab, and it's more than one.
Oh, okay.
It's enough to last them several years, and they
I
got a
see.
better deal by buying multiple than
Okay.
buying just the one. And it's a
All right.
specific logbook that they need to
So it is
have,
specific to
specific to their lab.
their work?
landowner, yes.
All right. Thank you. That's all the questions I have on the bills. Thank you.
Make a motion, we accept the bills?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, bills are approved. Correspondence?
Yes, we have 2 items this evening. The first is informational purposes only, dated August 3rd, 2018. Dear Susan Sullivan, I regret to inform you that I'm resigning from my position as library page from the Rouses Point Dodge Memorial Library. My last day will be Thursday, August 30th. Thank you for the opportunity to advance from library substitute to library page, along with the chance to advance my skills working in this library. If I can be of further assistance before my final day, please let me know. I wish you all the best. Sincerely, Stephanie Ashmo. The next is from Montgomery Hose Hook and Ladder. Dear Mayor and trustees, we wish to inform you of 3 new members who have been approved to our company for a probationary period of 6 months. Ryan Henneberry from Rouses Point, Scott Steely from Champlain, and Chad Pichet from Rouses Point. Please act on these members as we thank you for your time in this matter. Respectfully, yours, Dennis Roberts. And this needs a motion to approve.
And in motion to approve these?
Make a motion to approve the members?
I have motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, they're in. Okay, is there any other correspondence?
There is not.
Okay. Now, we have bids. We advertised for bid for a multi-purpose telescopic loader to replace the Gale that we have now. We received 4 bids. 2 of them were not, they weren't for what we advertised for. And then we had 2 bids that were what we thought was gonna be good. One of them was, or acceptable. One of them was from Dragoons, and one of them was from JCB in South Burlington. The one from South Burlington is slightly less than the one from Dragoons. I think here. Okay, and so, we had them both up here to try them out. And this is the new loader that's supposed to replace all the equipment down in the sewage treatment plant. So it's primary for them for in-house use. And it also should be able to duplicate most of the things that the Gale can do, which is inappropriate for inside the wastewater treatment plant. So we looked at the JCB last week, and it had some deficiencies in it, and it was lacking some equipment that we needed. So, Mr. Pelt, would you like to address us on this and what you think?
Yes, we went over both bid packages, and there is some deviations with the JCB. John went through every line as a mechanic just to make sure that, you know, we didn't miss anything. And some of the reaches weren't to specs, and some of the legal language of the signature of signing the bid form wasn't signed.
So what's your recommendation to which one we should select?
Well, I understand that the one from Dragoons is $7,500 more, but it looks like a better machine. There was no deviations whatsoever.
Right.
It includes a light package.
Yep. It includes all the road light package. It's got a lot of options that were, it's not a bare bone machine.
We have to remember that we're replacing two pieces of equipment.
Right, and like the mayor was down, you know, we're talking, when that thing's going down the road in the middle of the night, carrying a transformer, you wanna have a good light package on it. I mean, we spec'd work lights on it, and their idea of work lights and ours is two different things, but.
And the service for Dragoons will be local, I assume?
Yes, it would be local, and if that machine's down at any time, they will give us a machine to use at any time.
It certainly has value.
That's definitely, definitely worth the extra.
I mean, the JCB, you know, the sales rep came up and he was very, you know, understanding. I mean, when we got the machine, it was really filthy, and I'm saying to myself, is this a brand new machine? I mean, I wouldn't sell something like that, especially if I was doing it as a demo. But like I said, there's some of the things that looked off on it, and so I had John did check all the specs, and there was just like 3 things that were off, but it was still off. You can't check yes in a box when it should be no.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, so,
Unfortunately.
board have any other questions about this? Any other discussion?
No, I think
Okay,
it's
need a motion to accept.
I do. I don't see why we're in a big yank to get this. I think we ought to throw out the bids and go after and repackage it and send it out. There is $7,500 is a lot of money to me, and a lot of money to our residents when we're trying to be fiscally responsible in other departments. And this is not something that we need this week. And it'll give everybody a chance to relook at their bids again and bring them up to spec, or look at how they submitted their proposals. And that's my motion.
You're making a motion to,
To reject the bids and
does anyone want
ask Brian
to
to send
second
them out.
that?
Just a comment, Tom, I did check after that issue had come up of whether we could get a better price, but it's probably not likely to get a better price than the bid that we have now, so. I mean, I'm not just now, I just did a little research, and it appears that the Dragoon equipment meets specs, it's the best.
I'm not saying it doesn't meet specs.
Yeah, I'm just
okay?
saying, I'm glad you brought that point up, I dug a bit into it. It appears that the price is probably as close as we're gonna get, so I don't know the expense of going through another bidding process, to come up with the same result.
Just one other comment, I mean, just with the light package, I did ask the representative on the few things that it was missing, so I asked them to quote out the light package to add on to this JCB. It was another $2,150 on top of that. So that was just one of the options that was missing. So when you start adding them all up, they're pretty close to the same price. I mean, when you start adding options, so. But it's, I mean, it's totally up to the board, I mean.
I make a motion that we accept the Dragoons bid. I don't believe we're gonna get a better bid package for, I mean, we got one from Syracuse already, we got one from Plattsburgh Bobcat.
All right, we have a motion to approve we had a motion on the floor and it wasn't seconded. So we have another motion on the floor to accept the bid from Dragoons Farm Equipment. We have a second for that one.
I'll second that.
Okay, roll call vote. Trustee Arnold,
Aye.
trustee Menard,
Aye.
trustee, trustee Dart,
No,
trustee LeBlanc.
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. All right, now we need a motion for the bank resolution. And this is the government entity certificate of resolution for deposit accounts. Do we do this annually or something?
Yeah, this is just, it's like the other resolution we have, we're just changing, we're just adding, your name and Benny's name onto it, as
Mhm.
mayor and deputy mayor.
Just,
This
in other
is-
words,
this
this
is the other-
certifies who's allowed to draw funds on the village.
This is, yeah, TD Bank and Shay, and I don't go to Shazy that often, so this is for the.
Oh, so this is, like, we did one of these for the
For
other.
Champlain National, this one's
Okay.
for TD Bank.
Okay. So I need a motion to approve that.
So move.
Okay, second? Do I have a second? Second. Okay. All in favor? You need a roll call for that? Okay, roll call vote. Trustee Arnold?
Aye.
Trustee Dart?
I,
Trustee Menard?
Aye.
Trustee LeBlanc?
Aye.
The mayor votes aye. All right. EMS report. This is the month of May. This is the only one that I've received this year from Champlain EMS.
Apparently,
Apparently,
come out every 3 months, I think, doesn't it?
I don't know, this is the only one I've had since,
we
know.
were getting monthly reports before.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
I wasn't
it says it's
inquired
for the
about that
month, it
tonight
doesn't
anyway,
say it's
why?
report, it doesn't say quarterly.
We
it
weren't
just says
getting
month.
this.
No, I thought it
I
was,
thought we were getting a monthly.
We were.
oh,
I haven't at home. I checked
Have
back.
you got any in the last 3 or 4 months?
I have not.
No, me neither,
Many.
that's what I'm talking about, yeah. This just came in, I
Right.
believe, isn't it?
Yeah, they come to your email,
Yeah.
Mayor, that I check. I had no idea you needed these. Mr. Letourneau took care of that before.
Yeah, he used to
So
pass them out every month.
Once
Okay.
I was informed, it made it here, so I haven't seen anything from June yet.
The
Okay,
public likes to see those.
yeah.
I understand.
Now, what we've got here is we've got 23 calls in Rouses Point, these are ambulance calls, and that was it for the month of May. And the rest of the statistics don't really deal with our village, loaded miles and total calls in Champlain and Moores. The response times are non-relevant, in my opinion, because it just indicates when they arrive at their station, when the ambulance is leaving their garage in Champlain. So this is an issue that we will be dealing with later in the year about the whole ambulance situation. It's an important issue, and we have to address it. Hopefully we'll hold off for a little while. Now, let's see, the other thing I would like is a motion to advertise in-house for a recreation center maintenance worker. We're not gonna select one, and we're not advertising to the public, but we need to begin the steps of advertising in-house. So I need a motion for that.
So move.
Have a second?
second?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No,
None. Okay, you realize right now, this week, there's nobody in the rec
oh,
center.
absolutely,
There's nobody. There's 3 on sick leave.
absolutely.
One of them's out for extended indefinite period, the other one's out for indefinite period. And we need to at least.
Mr. Peters, did Mr. Babby call you today with our return date?
Not yet. We spoke, but I can't disclose that.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
we have
The
3,
place
4.
definitely needs help.
Huh?
The place definitely needs help, but we've got people in place, that can help us out. I've even been informed there's been someone who come in and actually help the Shields make ice for free.
Yeah, we worked on that.
And we have got Zachary we've got Brandine, and we've got Bobby Marks for just a little bit longer, so. And
This is not-
we've got Jeremy Gay, if you wanna use him up here temporarily, that's fine. We have, plenty of people to shuffle around.
This is not to appoint someone, this is just to advertise it. We can decide later if we need to appoint somebody from the list, but we can't wait till the last minute and turn out we don't have
Oh,
anybody.
no, I understand, but what I'm saying is I'm offering you solutions now.
We've already done those, Tom. We were the ones that called in Mike Lemuel, former worker.
Okay.
We've got, the whole village crew has been down here working in this rec center most of the summer, and they've gotta get on their own jobs back
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
soon to get caught up.
Absolutely.
I mean, the
I agree.
electric department's been down here for 2 months.
Yeah.
Most of Public Works has been either down here or trying to get the paving done. And we've gotta get some help down here. And at least we've gotta get a plan in the pipeline, so we have something to fall back on if we have to, and that's what this motion is for.
Just a question, Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
on, if we advertise and do add this net one person, well, if it's internal, then there's no net,
It's internal,
then there'll be no net gain to employees.
no.
Okay.
And
Yeah, it's just in.
you have to, before you do anything, you have to advertise it in-house. And then you can decide, you wanna select someone from in-house. Well, first off, you have to decide, is there any interest in-house? And then if there is, you wanna decide, are you gonna fill it in-house? And then if you do, then you have to interview it. And this process, as we know from past hirings, takes a long time. It doesn't happen overnight.
Right, it does.
So you have to do some pre-planning, and this is part of the pre-planning. Because right now, you don't have anybody down here.
No, correct. We all need, I think, understand we need help in the rec center immediately, so it's a question of how to source that person.
Well, this is what you have to do first, before you do anything else.
So we have a motion.
We have a motion and a second, and we have vote 3-2 in favor. Okay, that's all I have at this time. Trustee Arnold.
All right, well, we talked about the water plant upgrade today and stuff like that, and we're gonna start taking apart some more pumps. Filters, and get that upgraded and stuff. And there's gonna start tonight, taking some of the filters apart, so we're gonna.
You're gonna do a number 2 Adams tonight,
Yes.
starting.
And I also talked to Mr. Babby today on the tree on his property on Lake Street by Sandy's Deli, that big white birch. And there's a big limb that's hanging out over the top of the street that when a tractor and trailer goes by, it hits it. And he said we could trim it off if we'd like to. So if we could, I'll show you tomorrow, Mr. Pelkey, on that. And there's one little small other limb that's hanging over there too, and he said you could trim that one too. So, also on the tree trimming, I noticed on Delaware Street and a few other streets in the village that the limbs are hanging way down over the sidewalk. That then I know the guys that go out and trim them before winter.
Yeah,
So I know you don't have time right now, but,
usually go out in the fall, make sure nothing hits our sidewalk machine, or,
yeah,
we have been out trimming a few that were hitting the.
yes,
truck.
I've seen that, yeah. So,
The ones
okay,
that.
so if that could be done, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and I noticed we got a speed monitor sign down on Montgomery Street, Mr. Mayor?
I know it's there, I don't know, I guess the sheriff's department must have put it there. It's kind of stupid because it's right where you come to a stop sign. So it measures your speed coming up where you're slowing down for the stop sign.
Yeah.
You know, probably.
I don't know who put it there, I just wondered who put it there.
It's gotta be the sheriff's department.
Oh.
I don't think
No.
the state police, no.
No, I asked the sheriff. They
Well, whose
said
is it?
they don't know.
Okay, pick it up and bring it
There's
down.
no
there.
name on it. It's white, there's no name on it. The ones the sheriff has, I guess they're yellow or orange color. And he said, no, they have two and they're in use somewhere else. Cause I asked the sheriff.
Okay, well, when
Because
you,
I said it's kind of weird where you got it because you stop at a stop sign, how fast are you gonna be going from the stop sign to that monitor?
There's no markings on that unit?
No, there's no markings on
what I
it.
do is just pick it up and bring it down to the village garage.
There's, yeah,
See
I
who
mean,
claims it.
the tongue's not even locked on or anything. I don't know.
Could it be John Mott's? Or did Mott buy something like that?
Well, no, it's in a weird spot.
Yeah.
Somebody
Well,
didn't
somebody's
do
gonna run into it.
somebody didn't
because
do their research. I
Sticking
mean,
on,
if the board directs me, I'll move it until we,
just get it out of there till we
I
find out
agree.
whose it is, and if they
Okay.
got, they don't have permission to do that on village streets. The sheriff does because we've given them
Right.
yes.
authority to
But
enforce
they would
laws in the
inform us
village.
also. that-
That's not where they put one anyway.
Yeah, I know,
Right.
We'll put it to the garage and we'll see who claims it.
right,
Then we'll know who owns it.
Yep.
okay.
All right, I'd like an executive session on water plant, personnel, particular person.
All right, have a motion, have a second.
Second.
Do you need a roll call for that, Don? All in favor?
Aye.
And then I need a executive session on code enforcement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I also need a executive session on village board.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is this all at once, Mr. Arno?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna have
Do it all
to,
done.
we're gonna have to review tomorrow, the format for requesting these executive sessions, because there's specific words that you have to use to get them. You can talk to Donna tomorrow about that, but,
Okay, well, it's supposed to be, all executive sessions are on particular persons.
yeah, but just go over it with her tomorrow, she'll
Okay.
tell you. I went over this with Dan, last year, he told me
Oh,
there's
okay.
new regulations about, that you can't be specific about different, anyway, we'll talk about it later.
All
Do
right.
you want the executive session just with the board and the mayor, for the village board?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
But not the other two.
No.
Okay.
And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Dart.
Just a couple of things. First, I'd like to have the clerk correct the record. I wasn't me to vote no for getting personnel into this place. I very much support bringing personnel in and bringing it in-house. I didn't know that the possibilities had been already explained to everyone about how we could do different things. So, I'm with the board on that, and not a no.
Okay, thank you.
Might have been indicated, this place says we don't. The other thing I've got is, it's gonna come home to roost sooner or later, as long as we continue, or as we get further into not having a midnight 8 shift or 11 to 7 shift at the water plant, is that I'd like to look into a reputable answering service that will take calls from the hours that the water plant is closed. We can give that service 12 to 20 scenarios on who they would call for certain things. I think we owe it to our residents who are used to calling in the overnight hours, that they have somebody that can direct their call, and that they won't be calling another supervisor if it's not their department, or whatever, something professional like that, and in place of having somebody answer the phone that we won't have midnight to 8, and I'd be glad to look into that.
All right, would you look into that for us and report back at the next meeting with what you come up with?
I will.
Okay.
That's it, thank you.
And talk to Brian Jeleno about this, because we're working on a whole bunch of issues involved in what you're saying. They got the snow plow thing, to call out for that, and talk to Mr. Pelkey about it too.
Yes.
And also about the chlorine thing going off at the water tower, and there's a whole bunch of different things, and we're just trying to get a handle on what we're going to need before we hire somebody, because we've got different things that we need to address.
I just wanted to be proactive before
Yeah.
we wind up in the situation, instead of being reactive.
All right, anything else?
No, thank you.
Okay, trustee Menard,
I have nothing to say here.
okay, trustee LeBlanc.
A couple of things, one on Public Works, paving in the village will soon commence, depending on county schedule. Mr. Belkey, I think, have been informed that they'll be here shortly, who knows, this next week or this week,
Tuesday of next week.
Tuesday of next week. Are they
Weather
all-
permits.
All paving done in one day, is that,
Within 3 days, they
3
should
days.
have this done, 3-4 days.
and then, so we'll have some nice, freshly paved streets, and Public Works is moving on to repairing some sidewalks, so we're making progress in this month. Thank you, Mr. Belkey, for pushing that along. Main item of tonight's meeting that I'm bringing up is a memorandum I put out as I'm working with Mr. Peters on economic development. We're looking at 3 phases of development, but I'd like to concentrate tonight on the next steps. I put out 1.5-page template or ideas for development. Maybe we can get that posted on the village website. But I'll be attending all the village planning meetings and be available to talk with any interested people in the village on economic development, specifically focusing on downtown revitalization. I like to start the ball rolling in a number of different areas. Don't have a lot of specifics right now, but I think it's key after talking to a lot of constituents of the village that we either do something downtown, something dramatic, something new, or just give it up forever. But so I'm focused on giving one more big push to really transform the village. Third part of our economic development is the waterfront. We've got a number of things that are happening there in infancy. But again, all 3 parts of this economic plan has rolled together. I think we needed a vision for this, and Mr. Peters came up with a good catchphrase, Village of Innovation. And so I think we need to be innovative in our ideas for development, looking at everything. Doesn't mean we have to be high-tech geeks but innovate on how we develop. We're a small village, and we've got to make use of everything we can get. So I'll be available to meet with any business people, interested people, investors, or anything that will help the village progress. Any comments from the board, questions?
I don't have any myself because I addressed it in an email that I sent you, and I applaud you for doing this.
Yeah, very good.
Looks good.
Yep.
Good plan.
I probably should send this email around to the rest of the board, huh?
Which one?
The one that I sent to him.
I think we got it.
This one here?
I guess now you have for sure.
Well, I'm gonna give it to everybody, but I just didn't want to bring
Yeah.
some of that stuff out in public.
Yeah.
Anyway, you guys can read that, pass it on to Tom there, and if I have it, I'll get to you after the meeting, I'll tell you what. Anyway, no complaints with this project, it's just focusing it a little bit, we
Yeah,
want to finish
sure.
this building, we want to finish.
Yeah,
up
I'll just get a
buildings.
copy of the letter, that's all.
Yeah, and then, okay.
Yeah, send it to
Here.
I have one more thing, Mr. Mayor. We had a ribbon cutting at the Italian restaurant, Mr.
Yep.
Velati and his wife at Castle,
Jessica Capitano?
Casa Capitano. And then after that, we took the paper was there, the Sun paper was there, and WPTZ, right, Mr. Peters?
Yes, sir.
We took them downtown, we went into the gallery, we went into the flower shop, and we were gonna go over to the Patriot, but the Patriot was closed.
Disappeared.
So anyhow, but they were very impressed that we brought the paper in with us and stuff like that, and the downtown in the florist shop and stuff like that, so
It's good.
there, so, yeah, they were really nice about it.
You did a good job on that.
Yeah, that's all I have now, Mr.
I have
Mayor.
one other thing I forgot under me, is that I wanted to thank trustee Arnold for the job that he's been doing on his safety program. It's coming along good, and it looks to me
Yeah.
like Donna's had her hand in this too.
Yes. Yes, I'd like to thank her a lot for doing all the paperwork and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
On phase 2 of this, which is a minor part, I'd like to see our village equipment updated as far as safety stuff, like all vehicles with a 5-pound or better fire extinguisher, first aid kit, not a huge ambulance
Right,
first
yeah.
aid kit, but a standard one for like the dump trucks and public works
Mhm.
stuff. I think the line truck probably has all that
They
stuff.
do have.
But the
Right,
other
right.
trucks don't.
Yeah,
And
some of
then-
the other trucks used to have them.
Somebody's gotta check them every
Yeah.
once in a while and make sure that we still have what's supposed to be, like those safety triangles.
Yeah.
One of the guys was telling me they got dinged by somebody, they didn't get a ticket, but they were going down to Plattsburgh in one of the bigger dump trucks, and it didn't have some of that stuff it was supposed to have in it.
Yeah.
Because you just get used to just driving around the village, you don't think of that, but it's supposed to be in there, and so that's the next thing we need to do is,
I can do that.
okay, appreciate that. And that means not just the trucks, but like the skid steer loaders and the,
Oh, yeah.
and the gale and the bucket loaders and all that stuff. I was at a, verge here just a little bit, but I was over at McDonald's in Winooski 2-3 years ago, and somebody came in from the Winooski Public Works Department in a big, like a leaf sucker, like, kind of like our street sweeper. And it had all these, it has an extra motor in the, behind the cab that runs the blower, you know, a big diesel engine. And there's all grease and leaves in there, caught on fire. We started in the, everybody grabbed their fire extinguishers. I had one in my, I had two in my truck and one didn't work. And the McDonald's started passing them out like a bucket brigade. They used about 7 or 8 fire extinguishers on that. We couldn't get it out, but we kept it from catching the rest of the truck on fire until the Winooski Fire Department finally showed up from just down the street. But, you know, that's a $200,000 piece of equipment that they could have lost, and, you know,
Yeah.
so I'm trying to prevent that. You know, we're not expecting our guys to act like firemen, you know, if they see a fire truck,
Right, yeah.
they'll run it. But you gotta have that stuff on your equipment.
Yeah.
So, anyway, okay, other reports. Mr. Peters,
Yes, sir.
do you have anything?
Not today, I think we're covering most of it through the agenda.
Okay. Our son,
I don't have anything.
Mr. Pelkey.
Yes. As Benny talked about today about the water plant, we're still trying to do some upgrades in there to get it so it runs a little smoother. We did a live tap at the tower, installed a new meter so it could, so the chlorine injector up there can do it automatically rather than set it manually. So it goes on the flow, how much the village is using. So we've been working with the water plant. We've been doing numerous projects at the sewer plant, just little projects here and there, so the guy's been tied up, like the electric department. We had to move some of the equipment out of the influent building into the hallway because of the corrosion. But as Mr. LeBlanc says, we're gonna be starting a pavement next week. We're kinda at the county's mercy, so tomorrow I'm gonna have most of the guys down here, and we're trying to get this painted by Friday, so we can be out of here.
Situation on the building is, we just have the back wall, the east wall to finish painting. They have to do the cooling tower, of which Jason got in there and was really cleaning it up good. They have to coat it with something and then paint the inside. And of course, it's 100 degrees out there. But that's coming along. I don't care if that part of the project is delayed a couple of weeks. I mainly want to get the building painted in the back. And then administrators on the line ordering the gutters and downspouts and trim, because it turns out the company that made this building is still in business in Tennessee. And we think we can get exact copies of the stuff that we took down. So that'll be coming, that could come in a month or two, and that's something they can do separately. But I would like to get them up and painted this year so the paint matches, because if we wait till next year, then it'll be faded, and, you know. But the main thing this week is we're gonna finish the whole back of the building. Oh, that's on order, I think. Is it on, wait a minute, it's not on order?
No, we got the quote.
We got the quote.
Quote. The quote for the letters, we went out to get 2 quotes, we could only get one back, the other company is just dragging their feet. We got a quote from Jefford Steel for $1,550 approximately, and that was painted plus cut and delivered, so
Powder coated,
powder coated.
and it's aluminum.
The great savings over the plastic letters.
Yeah, I think they'll be more durable too. So we're just waiting for a purchase order for that, right, Steve?
I haven't seen any documentation.
Oh, when the quote comes in.
Yes,
I
yeah.
got the quote, I just, we have to, just want to get the spec on what the letters look like. The quote was.
Yeah, they got a design engineer that's drawing them out on a computer, and he's supposed to bring one in and see if it's supposed to match essentially what we had on before out of plywood, only be made out of, it's like 1/4 inch thick aluminum or something, isn't it?
That's on the spec, probably,
Yeah.
the standard,
Pretty thick aluminum. And the powder coating is because we didn't think regular paint would stick to aluminum. You know.
yeah, powder coating is definitely a
Right,
quality.
it's gonna- Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna stay on.
Okay, anything else?
One last thing, we were asked by the librarian about the tree at the library, the memorial tree, for Mrs. Burnell. And we planted 2 there and they don't last for some reason. So there's 2 there that are actually dying. So I reached out to Jay's nursery, and they're $2.59 a piece, and if you want them to plant it and warranty it, it's another 3/4, he said, of the cost. So I need to know what direction you want me to go in. I mean, unfortunately, we missed the tree program this year through the Power Authority. I didn't know if you wanted to talk to Mr. Burnell to see if we can do it in the spring, because I'm afraid if we plant with the weather that we're having, if it's not gonna be watered properly, we're gonna be in the same boat as what we've been in.
Yeah, you gotta put a 5-gallon pail of water on that every day.
What I wanna do is we're gonna excavate some of the dirt out of there, because I think the dirt is contaminated from the salt, from being dumped there when we used to plow and push the salt, and the tree's just not making it. 'Cause we've replaced it at least twice that I know of.
Is there a chance if we wait till next year that we'll get trees free of charge through a program, or?
Well, with this program, it's, how did that go?
Buy one, get one free.
You buy one, get one free. And we offered it to the village residents, and then the village got on board buying so many to replace the trees that we've cut down. And we do have a few, like on Maple Street, that died, that need to be replaced. So I don't know if we should reach out to Mr. Burnell to get his thoughts, or if you want me to just go and, yeah.
Why don't you talk to Mike and tell him, Mike Burnell, that's who it is, isn't it?
Bill.
Bill Burnell, I'm
Bill.
sorry, yeah. I've known him for a long time, Bill Burnell, yeah. And ask Bill, tell him what the situation is we'll have a better likelihood of it surviving if we do it in the spring.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, so the board doesn't mind if I do that? Go
No,
forward.
and if he's adamant about it, tell him, yeah, we can put it in, but, 50/50 if it's gonna survive or not. And I think he'll be reasonable about that.
I just don't want them to think that it fell on deaf ears, that
No, just
we
tell
are.
him we're actively
we are
doing it.
actively
We're gonna
working
make
on it, and-
We're gonna make it nice.
Okay,
Yep.
Sounds good.
that's
Anything
it,
else?
that's all I have.
Okay,
I make a motion, we adjourn and go into executive session.
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.